Mr. Tigger, this situation is so crazy, and you waited this long for you to get into this type of marriage. It's absolutely insane, but we're going to talk about it.
How we get up, just call back, right back. We can spend, then get it right back, man. She just gotta worry all of that, so that's why I bought.
Hey, y'all, welcome back to the channel. I am Jamie, that's me. Okay, listen, I'm here to talk about Mr. Tigger, his wife, Alicia Brown, and all of the drama surrounding the situation. All right. So, for the people that do not know, back in May, Alicia Brown made a post on social media where she was crying. I didn't see tears. I'm going to be real honest with you. I did not see any tears. I did see performativeness. I'm not going to hold you. She had a mark above her eye that looked like she may have gotten stitches. Her eye looked very swollen, not really swollen, but it was on its way to be like super swollen, right? So you could tell she had an eye injury. In that post that she made, she said, "Ask my husband at Big Tigger and at Francesca Amaker what happened to my face." Right? So she put that post up asking them, y'all tell me, go ask them what happened to my face. And she's, crying all on social media. So that is what led to this being a huge thing. A lot of speculation was out there about Tigger messing around with his co host. Okay. Which I was really shocked and surprised. I'm like, Francesca? What? Is she like, are you sure? So I was already, I'm not gonna hold you, a bit biased to the situation where I was like, I don't want to believe that. I need more information. Cause some about that, it was not given 100% to me, right? So shortly after that, we did get some video of it. Looks like they could have been at their home in his studio. Maybe it was the basement area, not sure. But she was trying to grab something. And a lot of people believe that it was the phone that she was trying to grab. So she was trying to grab the phone. He was trying to get his property away from her. Like, let me, no, give me my phone, give me my phone. So he's trying to restrain her. And they're moving closer and closer and closer to the door. And with him doing that, it resulted in her hitting her head. Right, and it looked like it was hard too, and obviously it was because of the injuries that came on, um, when she came on the camera with those injuries or whatnot. And it was a lot of speculation around that where a lot of people felt like, oh, well, he didn't do that intentionally. And some people feel like, had he not restricted her, then it never would have happened. And I feel like I can see both sides of what y'all are saying. It makes me think of Jonathan Majors as we talked about this over on Patreon. Shout out to the Patreon. But we talked about this, and I was saying that I could see this kind of being a situation of Jonathan Majors when he got into it with the baby mom. I'm sorry, not his baby mom, but when he got into it with one of his ex-girlfriends, right? The intention which he was found not guilty on harming her, like he did not intend to harm her. So he was found not guilty on that, but he was found guilty on because you did harm her, it resulted in this or something like that. Because you did what you did, although we know that was not your intent, because you did this, it resulted in her being harmed, right? So you're guilty on that part. And so I'm like, oh, I can see that probably being the Tigger situation. There's been a lot of who's right, who's wrong. This person should have did this, this person should have did that. And I think they both could have made different decisions, right? Alicia has come out on social media. She's put posts up. Actually, I want to get into this one post that she put up over here on social media. Um, Towards like the end of June. She says, "These last few weeks have sucked. I hate this for everyone involved. The amount of false narratives that have been displayed and attacks on everyone hurts. I take full responsibility for posting the video of my face. The lack of accountability, remorse, and acknowledgement has also been weighing heavy on me. Now it is time for me to address it. I ask that you be patient with me as I identify the appropriate platform and work with my legal team. But it is coming." So that is what Alicia had to say. Now keep in mind the moment that a lot of that video dropped, or the first video dropped, because Alicia ended up dropping more video, but when that video dropped and it was a lot of discourse around it, I did see on threads where her baby daddy, I believe his name is Darrell, I saw where he got on threads and he just started saying, before y'all start forming all of your narratives, y'all need to look into this woman, because I'm still trying to find my daughter. And this lady has done this before where she has lied and accused someone of, abusing her and this, that, and the other. Y'all need to look and do your research before you throw your narratives out there. or whatever. So I was seeing that. And then he was like, I haven't seen my daughter. I've been looking for my daughter. She's been missing. It's been reported. And then he mentioned something about going to jail. And I do have an interview we'll check out. But he did mention, I just remember him writing all of this on threads, and I didn't capture a screenshot because I couldn't find it, or whatever. But either way, so he was saying something about him going to jail and then him supposed to have gotten custody of the daughter. And instead of her abiding by what the court said, she took the daughter and she fled. Right. And he does elaborate more in this interview that I came across on yesterday. So it's been a lot that's been going on. And I'm thinking when I first saw that, I'm like, did Tigger know? Did you know that this lady had a child that was missing? And I mean, maybe he knew, maybe he didn't know, maybe it could have been downplayed to him about the situation or something, and he didn't do the further research. I don't know. But that's a little. Google is free. So it's like you could have did way more than what you did, or either you went along and you were, complacent in whatever was happening. So I don't know. Now you got to clear your name on these charges and stuff that's being put out there about you. You got to clear your name on the cheatations of it all, the accusations of you and Francesca. And then now you got to sit up here and you got to come back the situation on whether you were aware about this woman having a child that was missing, right? And kidnapping her daughter. So did you know about it? Did you not? So you got a lot going on. And maybe it was best for you to just go ahead and take this step away from radio, honey. But after seeing Alicia being arrested more recently, it's like, I mean, is he gonna be back? Is he gonna be back much sooner? I don't know. And we'll get into those details, but that's what's going on so far. Alicia, I'm sorry, not, yeah, Alicia had a lot to say about the Tigger situation or whatever, alluding to him cheating with his coworker, Francesca, with those allegations coming out, and you saying somebody asked my husband what happened to my face, and you're adding Francesca and you're also adding Tigger. That is kind of insinuating to me that you may have gotten into a fight with Francesca too. So that was a little confusing. And then the cheatation allegations, it's like now Francesca is suing you for defamation. And what's interesting is people are quick to say in the comments, oh, well, if it's not true, then sue. So when Francesca does sue, the people are like, well, I'm with the wife. I'm with the wife. I'm with the wife. We don't got no information yet to really know what's what. The wife did respond to the lawsuit. Alicia, she responded to the lawsuit and she said something about text. She had text messages. And now I'm wondering if she really got the messages. After this video leaked, because she leaked another video on yesterday of her and Tigger getting into it over the phone. Right. So I'm like, did you ever really get the phone to go through the phone to even get the said text messages that you're saying that you got? And then also she said, whenever I'm around, she doesn't speak to me. She doesn't acknowledge me at all. She only speaks to him. And I'm like, that does not necessarily mean that that person is cheating with your partner. Now, maybe your partner could have said something to them potentially. Maybe that's the direction that your partner was going to go in and it didn't happen yet. I don't know. Right. But then also, you could have given off an energy to where she probably felt like you didn't like her no way. So I'm not going to speak to this lady. It's something that's okay. I'll just keep my distance. Like, okay, I'm just here to do my job, work, whatever, and go home. That's very possible. So I do feel like at this time in my personal, I feel like a bit of Alicia's credibility may be shot, just a little piece. Okay. Cause if it's even allowed with this defamation case to even bring up the fact that you took a child, you kidnapped your child from one state, took it to another, and just completely disregarded the laws of the state of Maryland, that I feel speaks to your character. So I don't know. And then now it's so much discourse online about whether he actually was harming you, whether he was not harming you, with that video and stuff, him trying to get his phone out your hand. And it's just, I feel like it's so much with that situation too. Someone is recording it. I don't know if this was her son. They're saying she has like a 13, 14-year-old son. I don't know if this was her child or if this was an assistant or somebody that was recording it. He was trying to get the phone from her. The person says, you're literally stepping on her. And I'm not going to lie. I'm looking at the video like, where? Where is he stepping on this woman? Where is he stepping on her? But I do feel like choices could have been made on both sides. I'm not going to put all of it on Tigger and say Tigger's 1000% wrong. And I'm not going to put it all on Alicia. Now, Alicia could have left that phone where it's at. If you feel like you have to go through your partner's phone to validate whatever those thoughts are that you have, you might just need to reevaluate the relationship as a whole. Right? Being that y'all are married, maybe you feel like you need some sort of proof or something, right? Um, but I feel like, girl, you could have left that man phone alone and just let it be what it is, right? Um, and just watch how he moves and then make your getaway plan, honey. Right. But also, I feel like he could have just been like, okay, you can have the phone. You're gonna hurt yourself more than you gonna hurt me. So if you want to go through it, go through it. Have at it. You do your thing, mamas. You got it. Right. Another one could have been when he asked for it back, give him his phone back, right? And for him, it could be, I'm asking for my phone back. You're not giving it back. Let me go to the neighbor's house. I want to believe that Tigger may have two phones potentially, but I don't know. Maybe that phone that she had was the phone that wasn't just his personal phone, right? Registered to him, but it could have been registered to his business. It could have been his business phone that he uses personal as well. Like, I don't know, but I want to believe he got another phone or something. So I feel like there's a way you probably could have went and called 911 and said somebody is taking my property and they're not trying to give it back. Or you could have went next door and seeing how this situation unfolds and knowing that Alicia has been arrested in the past, I feel like Tigger likely did not want to involve his neighbors in his mess, and also knowing that he is a celebrity, right? So I feel like that may be why he didn't go next door, but I feel like you probably should have went and got on Google or something and figured out a way to call 911 from the internet and just like, listen, this is what's going on, right? But then I have to go back to that same thought of him likely not wanting to have the very situation that he's in right now. Okay, so it's just it's a lot going on, and I'm sure you guys have seen the videos and stuff that's been around on social media with her rolling on the ground, kind of throwing herself to the ground a bit while he's trying to like get his phone, you know, out of her hand. There was a time where she was saying he's on her ear. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he's still trying to grab the phone or whatever. Um, yeah, I don't know because I feel like anybody who has their property taken from them, they're gonna want to get their property back. Anybody's gonna be like, let me get my phone back. Like, it's not yours. Like, you don't pay for this phone. Like, give me my stuff back. But if it gets to a point to where you just cannot get your property back, I feel like in an effort to protect yourself, just go ahead and call the fort. Go and do what you got to do. Right. Going back to Alicia being arrested, there was a charge, and I want to get that up on the screen. That happened Ooh, back in 2025, and it's coming up on a year shortly, where she was arrested for battery family violence. First offense. It's a misdemeanor. So I don't know if she was able to get it dropped or anything like that. But it's interesting to know that she has a situation out there of having a missing child. And then you guys arrest her for family violence, whatever that situation was last year. And her name didn't come up for y'all to see that she had a situation in another state. And maybe it's because, and we'll get into the video of what the ex said, because when he talks about the daughter being taken from wherever the center was that she was at, they were not able to really confirm that it was Alicia that really took the child, right? Because I think people were saying they didn't see who it was in the vehicle or something. So because of that, they couldn't confirm and say that it was her. So they couldn't really put a bolo out for Alicia, you know. And I don't think they could. I don't think she had like a warrant or anything out there for her arrest, unless it was a situation, I will say, like if she had a court date coming up and she missed it. I mean, maybe they could have put her name in the system and that would have come up, but I feel like states don't really work together. I think that may be the issue sometimes. I feel like they might, but I feel like it may take some research and things for them to actually like, hey, this is where we are. Let's work together to get this person. But initially, to catch things on the front end, I don't feel like they always work together, which is why sometimes people are able to slip through the cracks or whatnot. But yeah, um, that's interesting. That's interesting. But yeah, she had that. It looks like she bonded out the very next day, $4,000. And I'll have to see if I can look into that to find out exactly what was the situation that was going on that would cause it to be a family violence type of like what were the details? Because they're saying battery. They're saying battery, okay? So that's what's going on. But I also want to go back before we get into what this guy had to talk about with Alicia. I want to go back real quick to Francesca and to Alicia and Francesca suing her for, defamation. And I do believe that it's affected her job. Like I'm not sure if Alicia is on air right now. I have not seen her post anything. When she typically is on the radio, she'll have like a video or something up, and she hasn't been there. So it may have affected her job. And again, y'all say if it's not true, then sue. Now she's suing. People want to say they believe the wife and stuff. Well, I don't even. I can't say that I do. I can't say I believe the wife. All right, and I would want to believe that a four-time Emmy award-winning journalist. I would want to believe if she's going to sue, she knows that discovery has to come with that. So you're gonna have to show proof of the allegations that you're out here making. And you better hope that this four-time Emmy award-winning journalist doesn't do enough research on you to provide it to her attorney, okay, to continue to make her case, if possible. So IDK will have to learn, at a later time. But I don't fault Francesca for suing at all. Sorry. Girl, I've been in this industry for about a decade now. I've been winning awards after awards, and I've never had a scuffle. Okay, a piece of a scratch, a light dent. I haven't had any of that on my name. And now, because you upset with him or whatever you got go, you want to take me down to? Oh yeah, I'm on you. Mm-hmm. I'm on you, girl. And it's gonna be for more than 75K. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that's gonna play out. Anything could happen. Maybe I'm proven wrong. But I kind of want to believe that. And it's also a situation like we talked about on Patreon, where I feel like you could be so focused over here thinking that your man is messing with this person the whole time. It could be closer than what you think. But good luck. All right. Very, very crazy situation to be in. Now, the people that may or may not know, Tigger's wife has now been arrested. Okay. And according to the Hart County Sheriff's Office, she was picked up. Let me see when they dropped this post. Okay. So they dropped this post yesterday at 3 o'clock. Oh, wait. Let me get this up because I'm like, girl, what? So what they're saying is kidnapping suspect arrested, right? They're saying on July 6th. So yesterday was Tuesday. So you mean to tell me Monday night, Alicia was arrested, July 6th, right? At 8:46 p.m. I'm thinking that she was arrested earlier on Tuesday. No, she was arrested on Monday night. The reason I find this to be so interesting to me is because Alicia dropped video. There were two videos that dropped of her and Tigger tussling over this phone or whatever, or her rolling around, him trying to grab the phone from her, whatever y'all want to call it, right? It was all over a phone. And there were two different videos that dropped that I think I saw maybe in the wee hours, but definitely that morning I saw that, right? I saw one of the videos in the wee hours. And then the next morning, I ended up seeing more than one. So yeah, so I'm like, wait, when did this really drop officially? So was this dropped right before you were arrested by the cops? Did you have it on go or something? Or did you call somebody and tell them you gave them a code word and they went ahead and pressed in and dropped that now that she's being arrested? Because now y'all got to leave y'all thoughts on this because it's definitely giving. I'm finna ruin you, baby. So y'all gotta be careful out here. But either way, I want us to get into this. So they're saying on July 6, 2026, at about 8:46 p.m., the Hart County Sheriff's Office received a bolo regarding a vehicle traveling north on Interstate 85. The driver was believed to be wanted on outstanding kidnapping related warrants out of Maryland. Hart County deputies located the vehicle near exit 177 on Interstate 85 and, with the assistance of the Georgia State Patrol, conducted a felony traffic stop. The female driver was taken into custody without incident. Two young children were safely recovered from the vehicle and were not injured. The driver was identified as Alicia Denise Brown, age 37, of Atlanta, Georgia. Authorities confirmed Brown was wanted by the Baltimore County Police Department on warrants stemming from the disappearance of a 10-year-old child who was reported missing in 2019. Insane. Insane. Where are we at today? Where are we at? How many days out? How many years out? I'm sorry. Are we from 2019? Where is this baby at? Brown was also wanted by the Fulton County Sheriff's Office on felony charges of interference with child custody. Both jurisdictions confirmed the warrants were valid, and Maryland authorities advised they would extradite. So, has she been extradited yet? That's insane. So, you have to be processed here in Georgia first, because now you have felony charges of interference with child custody. Mm, 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 mm. Then you got to go up there to Maryland. They say we are thankful for the quick response and teamwork of our deputies, the Fulton County Sheriff's Office, the Georgia State Patrol, and all assisting agencies. Their coordinated efforts resulted in the safe recovery of both children and the successful apprehension of the suspect. So, my thing is, what happens with Tigger, who has been banned from going to his home? Can't be around the children, from my understanding. I don't even think this man. I don't think he can feed his dogs. I don't think he has access to the alarm systems. Like, he can't do nothing. So what happens? Will the children be placed with another family member? Will the children be put into girl, defects love to get a child, don't they? Girl, anyway. That What's going to happen? Or is his attorney going to be able to file an emergency motion to kind of get some things dropped? Because I do believe that there was like a cruelty to children or some type of children violence charge, because the child was home. Now, the child may not have been in the room when the incident happened, but the child was home. So I'm wondering if that would be a charge that they could potentially get like dismissed or something. um Maybe if it's a misdemeanor, potentially, being that the child did not see everything that happened, the child wasn't in the room, the child could have been upstairs, maybe two levels up in their room. Who knows? I don't, but these are just questions, right? So that's what's going on. That's crazy. I wonder, how is this going to work out with the video that's being shown? Is the judge going to see it's so will the judge see the videos as, oh, I don't think that, this is anything to be of concern, drop the charges? Or will the DA, do that? Right? I don't think that the second video or the second two videos that were dropped, I don't see them as much of a conflict as I would see the first video when they were downstairs. The active, like, I mean, even though he kind of came upstairs, like, holding her in that same fashion, the other one is where the injury really took place. I think the other one, where it happened in that studio basement area, that's what's really documented, I believe, in the charges and the records and stuff. So I think that would be the video the judge really needs to look at, or the DA, to make a decision. I don't know. They may try and move forward. They may drop it. Who knows? I don't. Not in that department. I just have questions. All right. Um, because again, like I said earlier, it's kind of like that may not have been your intentions of what you were doing, but it still resulted in an injury. Whether people feel like, oh, she threw her stuff against the door or whatever it was, right? They still could see that as an issue, and they still could move forward with the charges. They could put him on some type of probation, to where you go through family violence classes, or you do whatever you're gonna do, and then we'll erase this, or we'll act like it never happened, type of thing. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know. That's up for that's for the DA. I'm just asking questions, honey. All right. I know a lot of people have been concerned and wondering, like, how does your child go missing as far as the dad? How does your child go missing, since 2019, and you're not out here actively trying to find her? Like, what's going on with that? That doesn't make sense. When this lady has been in a relationship with Big Tigger since God knows when. Have you reached out to him? And he has, from my understanding, according to him, he reached out to Tigger. He said Tigger never like responded or answered. Now, I don't know if other people have reached out to Tigger, but I know for sure the dad said that he in particular reached out, right? I don't know if he saw it, knew who the guy was, and just never said anything. I don't know if his DMs be flooded and it's just once it goes to the requested tab, he don't check them. I don't know what happened, but I do want us to listen to what the father had to say about everything. And I have to shout out the page that I'm getting this from because I stumbled on it yesterday. It's the Nina Brown and Joe Claire afternoon show. So shout out to them and let's check this out real quick.
Next, y'all, we've got Darrell Williams. He's about to call in and give us his version of the story as it pertains to his daughter who has been missing since 2019. And of course, this is the daughter he shares with Alicia Brown, who is now married to Big Tigger. This is more than a viral story, y'all. This is about a missing child, and we're going to talk to the dad. We've got him on the line.
Yes, we do.
Mr. Darrell Williams, you there? Okay, there we are. Darrell, can you hear us?
What's crazy? This video dropped on June 9th, and I just now came across it, like damn near a month later.
Yes, I'm here.
There we go. How you doing, man? Good afternoon.
Hi, how are you? How are you all?
We're great, and thanks for taking the time to be with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, a lot of people are just learning about Aaliyah Brown, who is the daughter of Darrell. Let me make sure I have that correct. Is her last name Brown legally, Darrell? I don't want to misspeak.
Yes.
Okay. So a lot of people are now learning about Aaliyah Brown, who is the daughter of Darrell Williams, because of the current headlines involving her mom, Alicia Brown, who is married to Big Tigger. We all know Big Tigger here in the DMV. He currently does a morning show down in Atlanta on V103. But before that headline became a trending topic, there was already a long custody battle, a court record, and a missing child case that has been open since 2019. And I'm speaking about the case that involved 10-year-old at the time, Aaliyah Brown, who disappeared from Reisterstown, Maryland in May of 2019. Mm-hmm. She's now 17 years old. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they still list her as a missing child. So we've got Darrell Williams on the phone, and we just want to be clear. We're not trying to convict anyone on the radio. It's about hearing from Darrell, who is the father who has spent many years trying to find his daughter, mm-hmm. and understanding what happened before she disappeared, and also getting clear on what the public needs to know. Obviously, Darrell's story also sheds light on the credibility of Alicia Brown, who has recently accused and made accusations and allegations of domestic violence as it pertains to Big Tigger. So, Darrell has a lot of insight about that, as he was in a relationship with Alicia Brown, Big Tigger's current wife, prior to her even knowing Big Tigger, and before all of the headlines this weekend popped off. So, Darrell, thanks for being here. We want to start from the beginning with you, Alicia, and Aaliyah. Can you just tell us, how this began? Like, for people who are just hearing your name, who are you, where are you from, and when did you meet Alicia?
My name's Darrell. I'm from Baltimore, born and raised, and I met Alicia in 2009. How our beginning started, we dated for a year. It didn't work out, and in that year, she sent me to jail, which was kind of my primary reason for not having this work out. And from the time that she was pregnant, had the baby, and we both tried to raise her, she did not really want me involved in Aaliyah's life. So it had always been a struggle to be consistently involved in Aaliyah's life without the court's help.
What did she send you to jail for that first time?
I've always went to jail, ironically, for the same charge, and it was for assault. We got in an argument. We sort of went out one night back in, I don't know, 2013, I believe, or no, I'm sorry, 2009, 2010 maybe. We supposed to have went out and we got in an argument, so I changed plans. I turned my car around and I was going to take her back home, and she took the keys out the car and we almost crashed. When I got the keys back in the car, she started hitting me with everything that was in vicinity of her reach in my car. I used to have like, I used to have a bunch of stuff in my car, so she was just hurling objects. By the time we got to park and the police arrive and everything, they arrest her because they look at my face, they look at all the marks on me, and they arrest her that night. But because she was pregnant, she said she was miscarrying, and they took her to the hospital, and then they released her. A day later, I got arrested. I had a warrant for my name saying that I brutally assaulted this woman, and it was completely false. So that pretty much ended our relationship from the jump, because I refuse to be with somebody that will send you to jail. So
right. And from what I understand about this case, that one assault charge then followed you and kind of snowballed into this long odyssey of what your life has become. Am I correct in assuming that?
All right. So please, for everybody listening, educate yourself on the legal system, because you'll have a bunch of attorneys when you are in trouble or need help. You'll have a bunch of attorneys that'll want to help you, but really they just want to get you. You'll have a bunch of attorneys when you are in trouble or need help. You'll have a bunch of attorneys that'll want to help you, but really they just want to get you. Ever attorney, because this was the first time I had ever been to court. My first attorney, I took the worst legal advice. Even though I wasn't convicted of anything, it was a probation before judgment. Mm-hmm. That does follow you, because once the case is resolved and let's say the same person says something again, they look at that as if you had some sort of incident before, so it's more likely than not that something occurred now. And that's how it was so easy for her to obtain warrants anytime she went into the police and said I did something to her.
Now, Darrell, just to be clear, and so the audience has a clearer picture, have you ever put your hands on Alicia Brown at any point?
No. I can assure you that Alicia Brown put her hands on me way more times than I had ever done once. Like, I've never hit this woman. Most of the stories she made up was just that, just make-believe. And she would come to court like it was true.
So that's what I wanted to ask you, because, of course, most of us are first learning about Alicia Brown over the weekend when she also posted a picture on social media with a huge gash above her eye and what appeared to be a black eye, while the caption read, please ask my husband what happened to my face. Have you ever experienced something like that where she, I know you're saying she would accuse, but this is before social media. Like, did you ever experience anything similar to that?
Yes. Before the advent of Instagram and all the recent social medias, there was things like AOL Messenger, Instant Messenger. She would send my friends, the people that's on my friends list in the Messenger, messages about me saying that I beat her, she's having twins, or she would do things to fabricate stories to my own friends and then tell them that he has a warrant, so you better go take him to jail or they're going to come pick him up soon.
Wow. And
Listen.
what was it like at this point? Sorry, Joe. What was it like at this point? She's had the baby. There's been legal issues, but now you're co-parenting with her. What was that like just day to day when there wasn't, a bunch of legal drama or you trying to be taken to court or jail?
It was full of control. It was, when I say jump, you ask how high, or I'm going to send you to jail or not send you to jail, but I'm going to tell them to come and pick you if you piss me off. So how was it? It was completely tumultuous. I had so much problems trying to establish just consistent, visits or just overnight. Just being a part of my daughter's life was just not something that she wanted me to be or wanted for my daughter.
we're talking to Darrell Williams. He's the father of Aaliyah Brown, who's been missing since 2019. When we come back, we're going to get into the custody battle. Also, the 2014 casino incident where your daughter was left in a freezing cold car for 8 hours. And I want you to explain what happened legally when the police pulled up on that car and rescued your daughter. When we come back, we've got more with Darrell Williams on the Nina and Joe Afternoon Show on the phone. And he is the
Alicia, baby, I don't know if you're gonna get out. I'm not gonna hold you. You might, but the fact that the child has been missing for this long and you may have known where she was this whole time, if she's still safe and sound somewhere, Maryland may not let you out. They might not. We gonna have to see. They might, I don't know. And then if they don't let you out, how is Francesca gonna get her money? Let's keep going.
father of the missing child that he shares with Alicia Brown, who is married to Big Tigger. Let me just explain. I'm going to back up just a second before we go into this casino situation that really changed the energy in the whole custody battle between Darrell and Alicia. But when we saw the headlines with Big Tigger's wife, Alicia Brown, and she had a huge gash on her head, and there were she was alleging on that post that Big Tigger was sleeping with his new co-host. I was looking through the comments, Joe, and I keep seeing, what about the missing child? What about the missing child?
Right.
I was confused. And so I Googled the name Alicia Brown, and immediately I start seeing all of these headlines and these stories written about Aaliyah Brown, who went missing at 10. And I'm like, my mind is blown. One of those websites that I saw is from ABC7 right here in DC. And let me just explain to y'all how it shook my whole world, because the story that is still online, anyone can Google it and read it, says a Baltimore woman was arrested. Remember, this is from 2014, was arrested on New Year's Eve after police say she left her 4-year-old daughter locked in a car all day at Maryland Live Casino. Police say Alicia Brown, who was 24 years old at the time, stashed her young child in an SUV for more than 8 hours. A casino security officer heard screams and spotted the child on the 4th floor of a Maryland Live parking garage, sobbing, freezing, and terribly confused. The Anne Arundel County Police said the first thing they did when they got the message was gasp. We don't do this to animals. We certainly shouldn't do it to our children. Casino security cameras captured Alicia Brown driving into the parking garage around 10 a.m. on Tuesday. Again, this is in 2014.
And see, this is what's interesting. This lady pulled this post up. All she did was type her name in. All this information came up. In today's age, which has been the past few years, in probably 10 or so, people be researching who the hell they talking to. And I'm just confused on Tigger. I'm wondering, like, did you do any research? Did you type her name in to find out anything about her? Did you meet her by way of somebody else? Like, did you ask her about it? And then she gave you a different response that was more compelling for you to believe or something like that. Like, I would love to know what, one, did you see these messages from the day app? That's one. Two, did you, when you learned this information, did you address it with Alicia? And three, what was her response? And four, how did you respond to that? Obviously, you responded with marrying her, right? Did you learn about this before or after you married her? Because I didn't even know Tigger was with somebody until he got ready to have a child. I think the baby may be like 1 or 2, maybe. So what's going on? What was up with that?
The Baltimore resident reportedly placed blankets over the windows of her white GMC Terrain to hide her daughter from passers-by. The 24-year-old then entered the casino and gambled without checking on her child's well-being one time. When she finally emerged from the casino at 6:30 p.m., police officers and security guards were surrounding her car, and she was placed under arrest. Authorities say the young girl told security officers that her mom had told her, "I would be right back."
This little girl been through a lot.
When I read that and got that information and just started to that's when it became too much for me. Or like Nina Brown, what is actually going on? Because we thought this was a whole nother situation. We thought this was just something going on with Tigger and some allegations, and now we start to see that there's a child who's been missing for 7 years.
Now, I do want to pause. I see a comment at the very top of this page that says, "Still don't negate the fact that that lady was battered and bruised." And I don't disagree with that comment. I disagree with the battered part, because when I think of battered, for me, I think of wop, 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 wop. I think of like really like smacking you around, and that's not what happened. But she definitely left that situation bruised. And I don't feel like the discussion that is being had here negates that. Right. I don't think that I agree. I don't think it negates the fact that she ended up bruised in a situation, an incident involving her husband at all. I don't. It does speak to her character in my personal a little bit to me as it pertains to her defamation lawsuit. Okay. If it's even allowed in the courts to be discussed at all. Right. So I don't think that it negates that, but I guess that would be up to the judge and the jury to make that, determination on what they saw and whether they feel that he was guilty or whether he was not guilty based on what they've witnessed on the video. And at the time that the judge said or honored said charges and said no talking here, no talking there, I don't know if the judge saw any of this evidence at that time. Or if he just looked at her face and took her word for it, which often happens in situations as well, and honored, whatever requests that came forward at that time, potentially. Or he could have saw it and also could have granted, from seeing the video, could have granted what he decided to grant, the charges and stuff in the request. Because at the end of the day, I mean, it does show that they were not getting along with each other. Obviously, it was creating some type of turmoil within the home, and they really didn't need to be in the house with the kids there, and they acting like this. Whether he tussling, trying to get a phone out her hand, not trying to get her phone, they yelling, hooping and hollering or whatever. Yeah, I do understand the judge saying, yeah, nah, you can't be around. And I believe that he operated for the sake of the children, in my personal, but
A child who was left in a car in the freezing cold.
2 degrees. The report says it was 2 degrees above freezing, Joe Claire.
And then
who does that to a child?
And that's the thing. Parts of that case started coming back to my head. Like, hold on a second. I remember this. This case went it all the way. CNN covered this case.
Yes, they did.
Oh, they did.
This made national news. This was one of the most astounding things that America had seen a mother do in a very, very long time. People were out.
Maryland, then, if that's the case, y'all kind of dropped the ball a bit then, in my personal, because if you have a history that she showed up this way with her daughter, leaving her in a vehicle for 8 hours, and then, she goes on, at some point, custody was awarded to the father, from my understanding, and then more allegations were made, taken from the father. She kidnapped the girl and then went on like y'all didn't. I mean, again, as much as I'm thinking y'all should have looked into this more, which I still agree, I think because they did not know who was in the vehicle when the little girl went missing, they couldn't necessarily say that it was her. But I still kind of fault Maryland for not doing enough.
Rage, people could not believe it. And here we are, years later. Now it seems that this child has been missing for 7 years, and she is in the middle of at the center of this case where Big Tigger is involved now with alleged domestic abuse.
Right. And this is beyond a viral story, because we don't know what happened in Tigger's home. We don't know. And at this point, I'm not even sure it matters when we have a missing child and a father who has not seen his child in 7 years. So this incident, it's important to know that this incident is what kind of shifted things in the court, correct, Darrell? And tell us, pick up from that point, what happened legally after this situation happened. When you got the call, what were you thinking to hear your daughter was left in a freezing cold car for 8 hours?
When I got the call, I jumped in my car and I ran and I went immediately to their family's house. I don't think it was the grandmother's home, but it was like her sister, the aunt. And, you know, they were real friendly, welcomed me in because that's where Aaliyah had been. Well, they went and picked her up from the casino once everything kind of came out. So I went and put eyes and hands on my daughter as soon as I got the call after it happened.
I keep seeing, what about the missing child? What about the missing child?
Right.
I was confused.
1 second,
And
guys.
so how did that incident affect your custody fight? Why weren't you giving Aaliyah immediately, no questions asked?
Because the system is broken, flat out. And the reason why custody wasn't immediately transferred or changed was because in Maryland they will do their very best to keep mom and child, whether it be mom daughter or mom son. They do not want to separate the mother from the children. So you can leave a child in the car for 8 hours, and that's not good enough or not damaging enough in the state's eyes. They created a safety plan instead of removing my child from her care like they should have and transfer custody, or at least get the child out of the home for the time being and do the investigation. None of that happened. They never separated from her even getting in trouble or being arrested. When she came home, she saw her daughter.
That is unbelievable and so disheartening.
And what they promised me was, because I had expressed to the department at the time, hey, I don't get consistency with my child. I see her, we do things, I get to take her places and things like that, but it's never consistent. So they assured me that would not be the case. And that is exactly what continued to happen at an even worse rate when they became involved.
Now, just keep in mind, DMV, this is still before Aaliyah went missing. We're leading up to that. We're going to take a break. Darrell has also shared with me the court memos, a very lengthy one that also describes years of conflict, custody concerns, allegations, emergency filings. I mean, we're talking about memos from judges who literally have said in a documented court memo that the judge believed that their daughter, Aaliyah, was being swayed and manipulated by her mother to do certain things to make sure Darrell was always looked at as the bad guy. This is in the memo that I reviewed that Darrell has shared with me. We're going to take a break, Darrell. When we come back, let's talk about the moment that Aaliyah went missing and what has taken place since then in these last 7 years that you haven't seen your daughter. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you, brother. Don't y'all move. It's the Nina and Joe afternoon show.
He shares with Alicia Brown, who is the wife of Big Tigger. Most of us just learned of her this past weekend when we saw really disturbing photos that she posted and then deleted that showed there was some sort of physical altercation. And she was alleging that there was some misconduct taking place in her marriage with Big Tigger and his new co-host, Francesca Amaker. But this is before your daughter, we're going to go back to right before 2019, Darrell, before your daughter actually went missing. In the court memo, it shows that there were serious concerns about your daughter's safety, her custody. The court memo says Alicia appeared to love Aaliyah, y'all's daughter, but also said that her behavior damaged Aaliyah's relationship with you, her father. What were some of the things Alicia was doing to, create the damage or create the distance between you and your daughter?
If it were my time to have, I guess, visitation, or if she's just with me, she would send her with like 3 phones, an iPad, and call every one of them. Anytime I would spend time with my daughter, she would make sure to tell her she's in like Disneyland or something to make my daughter jealous of not being with her versus me. She even had my daughter repeat stuff that was like completely false. I had drugs in my house. I had stacks of money laying in the corner. She even went on the court record and said that I have $100,000 cash in the corner stashed in my house, and I'm still looking for that.
Wasn't there some allegations about molestation as well?
Yes, that came at the end, or that came toward her losing the custody battle. It was like her last straw, the last, string she could pull. And again, it's an easy thing to do because the department does not decipher. They assume truth until it's proven, disproven. And she said that I was molesting my child, and they took her. The department took her from me to do an investigation. So let me back up a little bit. You said she was.
So it sounds like in the middle of the investigation, while they were investigating, that's what it sounds like so far. We'll get into the rest, but it sounds like that could be when she was taken.
Sent 3 iPhones with her and an.
So I want to get into, before we go to part 5, the comments where somebody says, wait, did he file for custody? Because he said transferred custody to him. Not I petitioned for full custody and lost. For you brothers out there, get your babies to safety legally. The day he got that call about his baby being abandoned, get a lawyer. Is that important? So he said, I petitioned for custody immediately after the incident. I answered Nina's question as to why it was not immediately transferred, because in other cases, the child is removed from the home and custody is automatically transferred to the other custodial parent. If and when situations like this occur. Gotcha. And so the person says, you did. I got to that part. And by the end of it, I think I understand what I guess she was saying. She understands what he was trying to say. So I guess because of the legal situations he's had in the past, it's likely why they did not automatically transfer the child to you, because of whatever legal situations between you and Alicia that led to you being in jail. But let's keep going.
iPad, and you're telling us that this woman specifically sent all these devices so that she could sort of just take the time away from you that you're spending with your daughter?
Anytime that I ever had time, she made sure to be a part of it or to interfere with it. So if I took her to a trampoline place, she's calling her phone all day to find out what she's doing and where she is and who's in my car and things like that. So to the point where I can't even have a conversation because every time I turn around, my daughter's sitting there on the phone with her mother.
And has she ever been diagnosed with any type of, mental disorder? Because that's what I'm sure everybody listening, like, what's going on with this woman?
As a part of the custody order, she was ordered to have a mental evaluation done by the court, but she never did it. So she was ordered to have one. She tried to get an independent physician or psychiatrist, and the court said you have to use the one that we deem, not the one you go and find. And she wouldn't do that.
Wow. Just going back to the molestation allegations, were any of those allegations ever proven in court?
Absolutely not. I would never and have never done anything like that to anyone's child, especially my own.
Right. And I know in the court memo that you shared with me, it described how when I guess your daughter was speaking to one of the court mandated officials, like your daughter was almost like coached and manipulated and saying things like, she would try to hurt herself or try to hurt people in the house, or she would be running away. It was like this, your daughter was being coached is what the court memo said. Can you speak on that?
She was being poisoned versus coached. That's all. She was being poisoned with lies and stories made about her dad to vilify me and have my daughter feel like I'm not a safe person or this is not a safe place. But anytime I got my daughter, we never had those problems. We are just fine when we are away to ourselves. And it got so bad her interference got so bad that the court could not come up with another way for me to have uninterrupted time with my child besides going to a visitation center and be supervised while I interact with my child.
So
Because they
the
couldn't
day they,
protect me anymore.
I'm listening.
because they couldn't protect you and what? I'm sorry?
They couldn't protect me. They couldn't. There's nothing that they could do to stop this woman's interference aside from, hey, go to the visitation center and you'll have uninterrupted time. That way mom can't be involved. But I get an hour a day and I'm sitting in front of people who are jotting down notes as I'm sitting here talking to my daughter. It was ultimately embarrassing. It was absolutely embarrassing, but I went anyway because I wanted to be with my child. And she still caused interruptions, interference. The visitation center had to call the police on her.
She got the police called on her at the visitation center while the dad is there having a supervised visit?
Yes.
So, Darrell, take us up to the day that your daughter went missing. What happened on that day, and how did you find out? Paint the picture for us.
So January 9th or sometime in mid-January, that's when the order went into place. By March, it all blew up. So I only had a month of custody, basically, before she enacted her plan. The judge gave me custody, primary, and we were to split physical so she could still have visitation. But the primary orders, the legal custody was fully in my favor. And as far as her runaway, when she made her claim of me molesting her, the department took my child, and on a visit or when it was time to go to bed that night at the foster house, a white SUV came to the house. My daughter, quote unquote, ran away, and that's how she vanished. And mom has a white SUV at that time.
What?
Wow. All right.
But because no one saw anything, or no one has a camera to say I saw her get in mom's car, she can't be listed as the actual person to have done this.
Wow.
But all right, Darrell Williams. Oh, go ahead.
The police department. The department and the police department do not believe that she's with a stranger, and that's why they aren't so aggressive in the search or Amber Alerts and things like that.
So they didn't believe that she was with a stranger. So then I feel like they could have put charges on her a long time ago.
It did not come out.
iPad and you.
So that way, if she would have had some kidnapping charges or something out there when she got arrested for the family violence back in October 2025, maybe that would have come up on the record. And they could have located his daughter sooner, is what I'm thinking. But
You're telling us that this woman specifically sent all these devices so that she could.
Okay, yeah. So that's the end of the video, right? So there are. Let's see how long this one is, real quick. Guess we'll just finish it.
All right. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about when you found out that Alicia Brown, the mother of your daughter, is now with Big Tigger, and you learned that they're pregnant, and you actually reached out to Big Tigger.
Don't y'all move, Nina and Joe.
So yeah, with that, he did reach out to Tigger. He hit him up. Tigger never responded to him till this day. So maybe he has till this day. Right, since that video dropped or this interview took place about a month ago, maybe Tigger has reached out, but I'm willing to believe he hasn't. If you didn't say anything then, I feel like you're not saying anything now. You may say something as of right now, considering the fact that this woman has now been arrested. Okay, so I do want to get into the latest video that they made regarding them learning about Alicia's arrest. So let's.
We wanted to bring Darrell Williams on, as we've been talking about him all day, Joe Claire. He is the father of Aaliyah Brown, who, of course, has been missing for the last 7 years. What happened when you got the call last night? Because, of course, you weren't expecting it. You got a call from the detective, and what did they say to you?
When I got the call, he just basically told me that they had her in custody.
Wow.
And you got a phone call because they had her in custody because of your case, correct?
Yes.
Alicia Brown was taken in on outstanding kidnapping-related warrants out of Maryland and by the Fulton County Sheriff's Office on felony charges of interference with child custody. Was Aaliyah Brown in the car with Alicia when she was arrested last night?
So they haven't located Aaliyah yet. They're still, searching and doing the investigation there.
Do you have confidence that Aaliyah physically is okay?
No, she's alive. She's definitely alive. I can confirm that. I've always known that. Okay. I've always known pretty much what was going on. To be honest with you, I hated it had to be who they have in custody because that's still her mom. And, you know, all of this was for nothing. All of this was for absolutely nothing.
Wow.
I just want to take a time.
So if you knew she was alive this whole time, why have you not been able to make contact? Because another thing the guy does say, and I don't know if it was mentioned earlier on, and we may have missed that part because I didn't go to part 6 and 7. You guys can go check that out. But he did say that he's hired private investigators. He has hired them to like do some research, find out about her and stuff, but he depleted his funds trying to do that. So he started a GoFundMe, right, to continue the process, but he didn't really make a whole lot from it, right? Only $125 from the 2.6. Let me see. But yeah, so he has tried to do a little work. So I guess he has learned some things from the private investigators. But my question is, was this information sent over to the officers? And did they just not act? Did they not respond if you've known where she was uh this whole time? Were you given some legal advice that said, well, you could report it, but if you do, it doesn't mean she's gonna come back to you. Like, I wonder what took place with that, because this whole story is so peculiar. Okay, to me, honey, I am like, what is going? Why we didn't get her sooner? This whole time you knew where she was. You knew she was alive. You likely knew who she was with. So I feel like everybody should be held accountable because y'all actually assisted in the kidnapping of a child. That was, if she was at a facility and y'all had to do supervised visitation, it's given the child was in the state's custody, is what it sounds like to me. Because she was removed from the custody of her mom, given to the dad. Alicia made accusations about him. So he had to take the child over to a facility, and that's where they had to go and visit the child. And she would call up there, do too much, whatever the case was he's saying. So what's going to happen? But okay. This is a crazy case. This case already had legs, which is the crazy part. Already had legs. And it just continued to grow so fast in such a short amount of time.
And thank everybody that ever, over this 7-year process, shared the hashtag, Define Aaliyah Brown, anything that you posted about my daughter. It's really because of you all that I'm at this point.
What do you want your daughter to know when she hears this?
I just hope you understand that no matter who this was, they would have treated this the same way. You do not just take a child from another parent and go about like it's okay. This is not okay. This is actually against the law. So in time, I hope you can understand that this is the truth, and I'll still miss you. I can't wait to see you. And I just hope you understand everything that might be going on, because I know it's a lot. And I'm sorry that your name is circling around so much for this instead of things that you're actually good at and talented at. But I pray we can just start on a good foot. And I'm waiting, and I'll be here, and I'm willing to go at whatever pace you want to go. I miss my daughter.
My man.
All right, so you guys just heard it. Another thing that was learned on the video, from the interview, was that she has 2 kids that have the same name, Aaliyah. Why? I don't know. You guys can come up with your own speculation, your own thoughts as to why you may think she has 2 kids named the same exact name. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. Very unfortunate situation that has happened across the board. From the daughter, having to be in this tug of war, from the dad having to deal with what he had going on, to Alicia getting the bruise on her eye, the black eye, having to get the stitches, to Francesca being brought into the drama and being accused of messing around with Tigger, to just everything and everybody involved. It's a cringe, it's a sad situation. I'm sure with everybody involved and the courts, they're all going to figure it out at the end of the day. All right. And whoever needs to be held accountable for whatever actions they played in whatever role will be held accountable as such. All right. That is all that I have. You guys can continue your thoughts and conversation down below in the comments. I'm Jamie, that's me. Subscribe to the channel, like up the video, hype up the video. Okay. You can catch me on social media at Jamie, that's me. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.